Hi, I'm Mark. I'm back. Clearly, it's Casual Friday. With me today is Steph.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, high school English teacher, but I've also spent time in a high school library as well. Licensed in both, but currently teaching English remotely.
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 All right. So we were talking about this a month and a half ago. My son was on his morning Zoom call, checking in, and at the end, the teacher said, "Oh, full stay after class." And it was because he had turned his video off. He just thought it'd be distracting to the rest of his class if they saw him walking around his house or getting up and leaving. It made me think of our conversation back in the end of August about how you're not requiring your students to turn on their video.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that. What led you to that decision?
So obviously we've known the whole summer that probably the format we're going back into is fully remote learning.
Yeah.
So I started looking up different kind of tips and tricks to keep kids engaged, some do's, some don'ts. And I had come across several articles, and one that really stuck with me about reasons not to have kids turn their cameras on. One of the biggest things was just what's in the background. They might live in a situation that's embarrassing to them, that they don't want other people seeing, whether that's the people walking around in the background, maybe they're in a bedroom with several other people, maybe the only quiet place in their house is the basement. I had a student reach out to me that she was going to be late to the class because she was going to be attending from her mom's car parked outside the McDonald's.
Okay.
So that she could access McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which I commend that student for the persistence and the dedication to like want to attend class.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to see that she's sitting in a car in a McDonald's parking lot. You
Yeah.
know, like that's her business of how she's able to access the curriculum. I just feel like
seriously, kick-ass mom.
Yeah.
Right? That's just awesome.
I just feel like the aim is for kids to learn things and to feel comfortable and safe while doing so. I don't want to be that teacher who's eating up class time when we could be learning things, saying, turn your camera on, I can't see you, I need you to turn your camera on. Because if the focus is the students learning, then I'm going to focus on that. Yep. I have one student out of about 85 that puts her camera on.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me because a lot of them do unmute and speak up.
Okay.
They'll respond in the chat. So they are interacting with me in a way that isn't kind of compromising their comfort level.
Okay. That's great. One of the things you mentioned with me is bullying. That aspect of it.
Yes. Obviously, we know what an issue social media is.
Yes.
When I was a kid, you got bullied in school, and then there was at least some reprieve when you went home.
Yep.
Now I feel like the bullying is 24/7 because you can post stuff on Instagram or especially Snapchat since it kind of disappears and you can control who you send it to. And I just feel like with having kids on a screen, you don't know if a student might take a picture with their cell phone of the screen of another student and Snapchat it, maybe teasing them for what's in the background or how they look or just anything really. In school, you can see if a kid's taking a picture of another kid and you call them out on it. You don't have that type of control when they're doing it from their living room. So I feel like to avoid that problem, just don't require them to put their cameras on.
Yeah. I saw this in my kids' classes. This sort of competition started.
Yeah.
Of trying to look as good as possible for Zoom.
It's almost like an elementary school social media
Yes.
at that point. Like, not what are they posting on
My dog
Instagram?
at the table.
Not what are they posting on Instagram, but what do they look like today? Because
Yes.
kids, they're very image oriented. And that was actually another one of my reasons was we started to have a lot of kids who, due to anxiety issues, didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if they're forced to look at themselves all day, every day, compared to other kids their age who, like you said, maybe they've gotten up and they have a full face of makeup on, and maybe this other person is struggling, and now they're going to sit there for the entire class, and rather than focusing on my English lesson, they're stressing about who's looking at me. Not requiring them to be on camera, it takes away the distraction of that. They're focusing on me, they're focusing on what I'm presenting, and they're not focusing on each other so much. But especially themselves. I mean, I, as a 14-year-old girl, would not have wanted to stare at myself all day, maybe from a bad low angle, maybe with bad lighting.
Yep.
And just when kids are struggling so much with their image to begin with, I feel like it kind of exacerbates the issue to have them essentially looking at a mirror all day and focusing on that.
Yeah, and it's, I was reading some of the article that you sent, and then I found some other stuff. Students aren't looking at each other in class. When you think about face-to-face classrooms, they might glance around and, oh, does it look like other people are understanding what's going on? There might be that quick check. But for the most part, they're focusing on the teacher. It feels like you've redirected it back to that.
Trying to.
Yeah.
I've actually jokingly called my show the Miss Sanborn Show because it's me looking at myself, and I, entertain myself all day. And I do, like, a lot of times, like, I'll ask them questions, or I try to be, I guess, silly. It's a pandemic. I understand that everyone is stressed out.
Yeah.
And that was kind of part of my thing, too. I don't want to make this more stressful for kids.